Hey, it's Mike Kleanowitz from Cummings and Company Realtors, and I just got back from a training today from some other top producing agents in our area. It was a whole panel of them that we talked or that talked, and we were able to ask questions to them, and everybody kind of was able to process all the new changes that are coming to real estate. In case you haven't heard, you know, there was this big commission lawsuit. I think in the state of California, there was this class action lawsuit that involved um, sellers and them paying too much money in commissions because they shouldn't have had to pay for buyers agents commissions. So they sued, they won, and now we have all the fallout from that, which I'm going to explain in this video. So this video is basically for this is going to be for the buyers. So if you are a buyer, or if you know of somebody who's going to be a buyer that's going to buy a house sometime soon, whether it be in the next month, 6 months, year, more than that, whatever, it's going to be a whole new way of doing business, so they understand, because the old ways of doing stuff 2 years ago are not the same way we're doing stuff now. We changed a little bit with some procedures during COVID and certain things like that, but this is a big change that's going to affect everybody who's buying a home, and it also is going to affect everybody who's selling a home too. A lot of sellers now read the news and they think they don't need to pay commissions anymore. And I'm a believer that I have a feeling that sellers are still going to continue to pay commissions in a majority of instances. I think you're going to have some that say, I don't want to pay any buyer agents commissions or anything like that, or play hardball or some like that. And it's no different than a for sale by owner. You see a for sale by owner out there that says, I'm not paying any agents commission at all. I'm not talking to real estate agents. I'm doing it all myself because I know everything. And then they wind up screwing themselves out of thousands of dollars. Most of the time they do, from what I see anyway. Because, like this past year, I had a condo that one of my own clients was going to list and try to work out a deal with her uncle herself. And I was like, why are you selling this thing for like $40,000 less than what you need to sell it for? Like, we could get you more money. So, we looked at the comps and we were able to get that price up a little bit to help her out. And then we still came to terms, kept the uncle involved, and worked it all out and got it all done. But anyway, so for a buyer, if you're buying, what does this mean for you? Okay. So this whole settlement thing, number one, means you're not going to see any real estate agents commissions published on any real estate agents websites anymore, anywhere. So going, and I hate even naming them because it just gives them credibility on the street when they're all horrible sites, and all they are is extorting agents money. Because you can get the same access to this data from your real estate agent. You don't need these sites. But anyway, that being said, sites like Zillow, sites like Realtor.com, sites like Homes.com, you're not going to be able to see any commissions on any of these sites anymore. So you won't see that. So you won't know what your agent's actually going to be making. Well, how does that impact you? Well, first of all, let's back up, because I think this is interesting to point out, if anything else, is that the whole point, when I got into business 20 years ago, that was explained to me, the whole point of having the MLS was so agents knew who to go to about a particular listing to get paid a particular amount of money that was stated in the MLS listing. And that information was protected for the agents to have access to, so they could see how much money they were going to get paid if they sold a certain listing. Now that we don't have that anymore, agents aren't allowed to put in the MLS anywhere in there. It's so crazy. Our own MLS system will fine us $1,000. It's not even like a warning. They just flat out fine us $1,000 if we ever put something in there that says anything to do with compensation or upload any kind of form that says anything to do with compensation. I mean, it is out of control. And you can't tell me they're not chomping at the bit to find as many of us as they possibly can to pay for all their staff at their corporate headquarters. And I bet their corporate headquarters looks better than all our office buildings that we work in, because they get all this money in fines from agents in addition to all the other money we pay them. But remember, that's what the whole premise of the MLS was so agents knew where to go to get paid. But now we don't need that anymore. So then my next question would be, then why do we even need to have an MLS system anymore? I don't know. Good question. They'll tell you you need it, but there's got to be something else. There's got to be an alternative where agents aren't getting fined $1,000 because a seller wants to pay commission and they want to let a buyer agent know, if you sell my house, you're going to get paid X number of commission. What is a crime in that? Where's the crime in that? What's wrong with that? It wasn't the agent who decided that the buyer agent was going to get paid. It was the seller who decided that they wanted to compensate a buyer agent's commission. No crime in that. So anyway, back to this. So as a buyer, you have always actually been responsible for paying your agent's commission. But the way it's always worked is most agents would just say, I'll just take whatever's in the MLS and that'll be my commission. Most of them. Some of them charge more and really stick it to their clients and try to get as much money as they can. And some of them don't. And I think you're going to see the same thing with this new way of doing business, where some agents are going to say they're going to charge more money and some agents are going to charge less money. It just depends on the greed level there, What's the greed level, And all agents have a different greed level, So it's important when you're interviewing agents, you ask them, how much are you going to charge me for finding me a house? How much? Is it 2.5%? Is it 3%? Is it more than that? Is it less than that? Do you have any admin fees that I have to pay? How much are they? When does that get paid? Do you have any upfront fees that you charge? These are all questions you need to have during your initial consultation with your agent. The good news is a seller can still offer to pay compensation to your agent. So maybe before you look at a property, you say, are they paying a commission so I don't have to pay it? Well, the only way to find that out is to have your agent reach out to the other agent, because we're not allowed to put it anywhere. We can't publicize it anywhere because that's $1,000 fine from our MLS because they want to hire more staff. They're probably doing what the IRS did and hiring like 88,000 agents to police every single agent on the street to try to find as many of us as they possibly can. Can you tell I don't like that rule? Because it's just complete garbage. So anyway, maybe you have to have your agent reach out to the other agent, the listing agent, and say, are you paying any commission? Is your seller paying any commission? Because my buyer wants to know. Because, here's the thing, seller, if you're not paying commission, my client is not in a position to be able to purchase your house, so we can't look at it. And that's what's going to happen. These sellers who think I don't have to pay a commission are going to have to wake up at some point and realize that there's a lot of buyers out there that are looking at properties that don't have money for mortgage fees, appraisal fees, underwriting fees, transfer taxes, county, city, local, state, title fees, title insurance, owner's title insurance, survey fees, doc prep fee, you name it, settlement fees, admin fee, everything. They don't have all this money in addition to coming up with another, 3% on top of that. If it's a $300,000 house, that's another $9,000 that they got to come up with now. So I understand the sellers think I don't have to pay it, but if the buyer can't buy your house, now what are you going to do? Well, now you can't sell your house. So are you going to pay it, or are you going to sell your house, or not sell your house? You know what I'm saying? So the good news is, though, with the way this works, is that we can, and if you have a good agent, even if you get a seller that says, I'm not paying any commission, we can try to work it another way and try to get you a seller credit towards your closing costs, which an agent's commission would then be considered part of your closing costs that you would pay. And if I'm just using 3%, but if your agent was charging 3% and we could get the seller to agree to 3%, great. Now your closing costs are covering the agent's commission, so we still got the seller to pay for them in terms of a seller credit towards the buyer's closing costs. You see, it's the same thing. It's just getting called something different. But that's really the biggest changes that you're going to see here. In addition, you should be prepared that when you first contact an agent to see a property, they're going to have to fill out some paperwork with you first, which qualifies you, even if it's just for a day. You decide to sign and work with them exclusively for that day to look at whatever properties you want to look at. If you're not willing to do that, and you're not willing to commit to somebody like that, I'm not saying you're not going to find an agent that is going to be willing to work with you, but you're going to be finding an agent that's not following the rules and not doing what they're legally obligated and supposed to be doing. So, that would lead me to question, if they're not following the rules and doing what they're supposed to be doing, then should I be working with somebody like that? I don't know. No. That's a question for you, not me. But that's kind of the gist of this whole scenario here with this buyer agent commission. I mean, it was a nightmare with all the different scenarios out there. And the other thing is, some buyers think that they'll get, because this is the stigma out there, I guess, is what people think. I don't know if stigma is the right word, but I'll have to think about that. But people think that they're going to get a better deal if they just go directly to the seller's agent, and they're going to make more commission, or they're going to make a better deal in terms of saving money on the house if they don't have an agent and they just go with the listing agent. And the truth is, when that listing agent negotiates how much is going to be paid for that house if it sells, they negotiate how much they're going to get in commission if the buyer doesn't have an agent too. So they're still going to get paid, probably more money than what they would have got paid if the buyer had an agent coming to the house. They're still going to probably get more anyway, but it doesn't mean that you're going to get a better deal on the house per se because that agent's making a little bit more money. Because at the end of the day, the deal is between the seller and you. It's not between the agent and you, and that agent has fiduciary responsibility to the seller, so they can't give you any advice. They can't tell you what they think, you can go at, and, I would just offer this, or they can't do that. That's breaking their fiduciary duties. They work for the seller. They can help you write a contract, but that's all they're doing is just filling in the blank saying, how much do you want to offer? Do you want to have a home inspection? Do you not want to have a home inspection? They're not giving you pros. They're not giving you cons. None of that. It just is throwing a contract out for you. That's how that works. And then, if let's say you do that and you waive the inspection because you really want the house, Now you're unrepresented. You've waived the home inspection, and now you move into the house, and 3 months later you have some serious problems with water or something like that coming in through the basement. What are you going to do? You were the one that was not represented. You know, you were the one that waived your home inspection because you didn't have an agent telling you get a home inspection, get a home inspection. You know, I really personally don't care what kind of house you buy. You should always get a home inspection. You don't know, even if you're doing it just for your own knowledge, and you're gonna not, just and terminate the contract if you find something huge. You know what I mean? Just to know, that's that's what you should do. Even in honestly, even in new construction, you should still do a home inspection, because then you find all the stuff on the punch out list, and you add that to your punch out list of the builder, and the builder should, should theoretically fix everything on that list because it's new construction. So it works to your benefit there. And same thing with new construction. I recommend an 11th month inspection, where at the 11th month, because the builder basically fixes everything for the first 12 months. So at the 11th month, call the inspector back and say, hey, coming back out for an inspection. Let's re-inspect this house, and see what issues we have being here for a year. And then, hey, builder, here's my home inspection report. I want you to fix everything on that report, right? And they do. They do. But people don't know this. A lot of people just don't know. So, that's another benefit of having an agent, who knows what they're talking about and knows what they're doing, to be able to work with you when you're purchasing new construction. Because sometimes buyers, they think, well, I'm building a new house. How much negotiation are they really going to be able to do with me if I have an agent and blah blah blah? Well, first of all, you need to know is the builder's probably going to pay your agent's commission. Okay, most of them do. So especially the bigger ones, they will. Now it's not always the best commission, but they will usually pay a commission to your agent. So your agent will not be charged. That'll be something you don't need to worry about in terms of if you're looking at one of these sellers out on the market that says, I don't want to pay a buyer's agent's commission, and then it's your responsibility. If you're working with a builder, so then you would get an agent to represent you for free if the builder's paying the agent's commission or crediting the commission. And let me tell you, builders have a lot of flexibility. So you walk in there with a buyer agency agreement, which is what you do the first time you meet with the agent. It's called a buyer agency agreement. Is what you meet with them and you sign with them, to work with them exclusively. And you can terminate it. You put in whatever you want on there. You can terminate it in 24 hours if you want. It doesn't have to be forever. Maybe you give an agent a month, and if they haven't found something in a month, and you say, all right, well, I'm going to move on and find another agent that's going to do a better job for me, whatever. But builders, when they get those buyer agency agreements now, and they see that it's 2.5% or it's 3% on there, I think that if they want to sell their house, all they care about is selling them houses and stacking them deep, man. They got a buyer who wants to buy, and the buyer's got an agent. I think they're going to look at those buyer agency agreements now and say, well, I got to take care of this agent. I think I'm going to have to take care of this agent. That's just my hunch, especially as the market changes a little bit and shifts a little bit and tightens a little bit. Rates have been up. It's slowed down a little bit, and rates are going to come back down, and it's going to be a lot of buyers coming back into the market again. So, and I think it actually will be a lot more sellers saying, I want to sell too, because as rates come down, they're going to say, I can afford to sell my townhouse and go buy my single family house because I have a more better interest rate than what I had before. Rates go up 6-7%, thanks to whoever, you can blame whoever, in the White House or whatever, but rates gone up that high from being at 3 something, 2 something, that fast. It just killed everything, and that's what it does. That put us into mild recession, and yeah, but we're starting to get better, and now rates are coming back down, and now they're forecasting to drop another 0.5% in the next month or so, or next 2 months. So things are going to be looking up if you're looking to buy. So whole point of this video is that if you're looking to buy a house and you're thinking about purchasing something soon, I want to give you some good information, some local, fresh market knowledge, hot off the press type stuff from this NAR lawsuit and all this stuff going on. And there's more lawsuits out there. So there's going to be more stuff that changes. There's going to be more stuff that happens. The industry is going to be in for a shakeup. And all I can say to all the fellow agents out there is, just make sure you're all strapped in and you're ready for the roller coaster ride, because it's going to be a blast. Some of us are unfortunately not going to put our seatbelts on, and we're going to get thrown off that roller coaster. We're going to be out of the business, and some of us are going to enjoy the ride. And then we're going to enjoy the ups, and we're going to go through the downs, and we're going to be right back on the ups again. So that's just how it goes. But, if you have any questions and you are thinking about buying, or anybody who's thinking about buying, or anything at all, or you're thinking of selling, thinking of selling and buying, that's a whole long conversation that we need to have at your house one night. You cook some steaks for me, I'll come over, we'll eat some nice dinner, and have a nice conversation over some steaks about how we can sell your house for a lot of money, and cash it in, and how that process works on finding that next house, whether it's downsizing or whether it's upsizing. It's an intricate process that it's a different situation for everyone. Some people can afford to purchase before they sell. Some people can't. That's why they have bridge loans and other things, finance tools. So you need to have an agent who's got a good knowledge of all that stuff too. But I do. I've been in the business 20 years. For those of you who aren't aware, I've been in since 2005. I've personally, myself, not a team, have closed about 1,000 homes for $330 million in volume, which is a lot for one person to do. I think if you Google that, you'll see that not many people do that as a one-man operation. Some of these big teams, in the since that same time period, have done 5,000 transactions. Well, they had 20 people. I had one, and I did 1,000. So, that shows you right there. Plus, with me, you're getting me directly the whole time, from beginning phone call, from beginning text message, beginning email, all the way to and through your settlement. For every call about the home inspection, for every call about the showing, for every call about the contract issues, for every call about whatever issue. We always have issues, but that's why you need to have a good agent who's accountable, that's on your side, that can make things happen for you, that can get things done. So if you need somebody good, not to toot my own horn, but I have to, is give me a call on my cell, 410-236-3331, or you can always text me at that number, or you can shoot me an email at isellmdhomes@gmail.com. So once again, number is 410-236-3331. Talk to you all later. Hope you all learned something from this, and God bless everybody.